What is the best Christmas video game or video game that has Christmas as a component of it? Find out our picks right after this.
Cue that music.
It's time for the show. What show, you ask?
Show and tell.
Ho 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 there, Guildies. This is the Adventurers Guild. I'm Steve,
Still Jolly Jesse.
and you have tuned into a lovely episode of Show and Tell.
That's right. Steve's going to take his sweater off. And then he's going to show us and tell us about it. Let's do this.
Star Wars, and it's Star Wars. What we are doing today, if you happen to skip the intro bumper, which why would you have done it? Because it's like the first 5 seconds of the video. We are deciding what is the greatest Christmas video game
Or video game featuring Christmas.
Exactly. There's an important distinction there because there's not a whole lot of specific Christmas video games, but there are quite a bit that feature it as a component.
For an example, you have the Fallout series, and in December, all the Christmas light goes up and stuff like that. So that would be featuring Christmas.
Correct. So, before we reveal our picks, one quick thing to note. Guildhallforum.com, which happens to be the greatest place to discuss all things nerdy and pop culture, will have a poll at the end of this video to tell us what you think is the greatest Christmas-themed game of all time.
And will it snow?
So be sure to answer that question before Christmas for your chance to win a $5 Nintendo eShop gift card.
$5?
$5.
Well, how much you have to pay to get inside that?
$0.
Get out of here. So all they had to do was vote?
As I said in a previous video, it's free! Okay, now, down to the meat and potatoes here. The best.
I do like meat and potatoes.
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
You know what? I shall go first.
Okay, here we go. Jesse's inferior pick for the greatest video game featuring Christmas is...
Boom! Batman Arkham Origins.
Christmas. Okay, it takes place in Christmas time.
It takes place on Christmas Eve.
Oh, Christmas. Oh, right.
Slash
okay,
the
yes.
Christmas Day.
Ooh, that's a good pick.
Yes, because you remember in the game, Alfred in his sad voice says, "Sir, I don't know if you check the time. It's after midnight.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas."
So that is a great pick.
Thank you. Thank you.
Unfortunately, it's going to lose because that would have probably beaten any other option except for the one that I happened to pick. Because there's a 0% chance that my pick is worse. So, the real greatest Christmas-themed game of all time is... You a drum roll?
I'm all ears.
Okay. Secret of Mana for the Super Nintendo.
What a good choice.
And do we know why it's Christmas-themed?
Why is that?
Because you rescue Santa Claus and Rudolph, and he grows a Christmas tree with a mana seed. Why am I singing?
Because you're winning.
On that note, let's explain to each other why we think our picks are the best, and we shall start with good Sir Jesse. So, 3, 2, 1. I'm Batman.
I am Batman. And we're back with Easy Listening with Jesse. And what's easier listening than me talking about how amazing this game is? So, this is Batman Arkham Origins. Yes, I said it right. Arkham Origins, not Arkham Knight, not Arkham City, not Arkham Asylum. Arkham Origins. Now I said it wrong.
That was a tongue twister.
Yes, it was. So this game takes place in the second year that Bruce Wayne has decided to take up the mantle as Batman. He is still very much learning the ropes and is making mistakes, but he has done well for himself as the Batman. Alfred Pennyworth, of course, in the game still has a problem with him being Batman, thinking that this boy that he raised has gone crazy dressing up like a bat every night. But hey, that's okay. We all have our fun days, I guess. So the game takes place 2 years within, and Batman's Batman. It takes place at Christmas, by the way, but we'll get into that later on why this is the greatest Christmas game. Before Batman showed up, criminals had the run of the city, and then all of a sudden this guy in a black bat costume is ruining their day. So Black Mask, at the edge of his wit and craze, decides that he's going to hire 8 assassins, pay them a ridiculous amount of money. He just wants Batman dead by the end of the night. So Batman, on his first night dealing with these super villains for the first time. Prior to this, he's only gone against thugs, and now he's dealing with the likes of Bane and assassins like Deathstroke and the Electrocutioner and other crazy characters. And I don't want to ruin the story too much because, yeah, even though the game's 7 years old, I think it's still worth a big play. It's starting to get the recognition it deserves now. People really kind of look back at it, but I think it's a wonderful game. But the nicest part and why I think it's the greatest Christmas game, to explain why Gotham is closed, they actually have it take place on Christmas Eve to explain why everybody's home and why most shops are closed. And I think that was a genius idea. So chef's kiss, Batman Arkham Origins.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now a game that I firmly believe needs no introduction, but my choice was Secret of Mana. So what you're seeing here is actually the trailer from the HD remake / re-release for the PlayStation 4. The version that I prefer is the original 16-bit Super Nintendo version. I think it's superior, although depending on what systems you have access to, the easiest way to access this game for a lot of you may be the PlayStation 4 version. So regardless, this game is fantastic for a multitude of reasons. So the basic overview of the game is an action RPG, and there's 3 main characters that you control throughout the course of the game, and they kind of play into the whole Holy Trinity aspect of gaming. So there's a melee class, tank, warrior, there's a healer, which is the girl, and then there's a sprite character, which is an offensive-based DPS class, like a wizard, basically. So the concept of the game, and I'm going to read this directly from the Secret of Mana wiki. So it states, the story takes place in a fictional world during an unspecified period following a war between a civilization and gods concerning the use of mana to fuel the Mana Fortress, a flying warship. Using the power of the Mana Sword, a hero destroys the fortress and returns peace to the world. So, like a lot of Super Nintendo games of the era, it's a little light on story. There's an overarching storyline, but there's nothing that's going to win any awards as far as storyline. But what makes the game great is the gameplay. So, again, I had mentioned earlier that this is more of an action RPG, which at the time was very unique, or very rare, I should say. It plays more akin to like The Legend of Zelda for Super Nintendo than, say, Final Fantasy, since the combat is not turn-based. And it's bright, it's vivid, it's super exciting. The whole game is just, I think, a masterpiece. And to go along with the connection to Christmas, at one point in the game you have to rescue Santa Claus and Rudolph, and Santa has to create a Christmas tree from a mana seed. And the reason you have to rescue him is because at one point he is turned into a giant ice monster. It's a really cool part of the story. Takes place in like a holiday themed area or a holiday world. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it is very Christmassy in that entire area / town, whatever. So anyway, that is why my pick for the best Christmas game of all time is Secret of Mana. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is our rationale and reasoning for why we think our picks are the best Christmas themed game of all time. And I'm very curious to hear if I have managed to sway you to my side, the light side, or if you have used your power of the dark side of the Force to pull me over to yours.
Why do I always got to be the bad guy?
I mean, you have the darker game. So it's like the dark side of the... Okay, so... I am going to go first, I guess, because you presented first. So I will bite the bullet here and give you my pick.
All right.
I believe, as I said earlier, that your game would have won if I would have picked literally anything else other than Secret of Mana.
Okay.
With that being said, I honestly think it's a no-brainer. My personal pick is still Secret of Mana, the 16-bit Super Nintendo version, although the PS4 version is still good. It's just so good. It's an absolute classic game.
It's a gem of a game.
It is a gem. And now for your pick, good sir.
So, as I was saying, I did really, really enjoy Batman Arkham Origins. I remember picking that game up. I remember playing it. I actually got it on the Wii U.
Okay.
Guys, remember that system?
The Armored Edition.
Yes. No, that was Batman Arkham City.
Oh,
Jeez,
right,
come outta
right,
here.
right.
I picked up on the Wii U, and I loved every minute of that game. I played it through and it was a great experience, and it was a fun Christmas experience and journey. But with that being said, Steve, when I think of the holidays, I think of joy, I think of color, I think of fun, I think of amazing times. That's secret, man. It's the game encompasses that, man. It's everything about that game is joy, colorful. There's dragons, man.
There is dragons.
And dragons.
It
are
doesn't get
magical.
much more Christmassy than dragons.
Not to mention, I do love that game.
I'll have to check the status on that one. That wasn't right.
Yeah. So, had you picked the PS4 version, would I have gone with that? I don't know, because I wasn't a huge fan of the PS4 version. Like you said, still playable, still a way to experience it. But that's Super Nintendo, man. The nostalgia with that by itself, I can't even say that, because I played it on the SNES Classic, and I was like, still amazing.
Absolutely.
So, Steve, I don't even mind tipping my hat to you this week. That was an excellent choice.
I will take the win, and I will do a Christmassy dance because I won. That's not really Christmassy, but I just wanted an excuse.
We call that the Jingle Bell.
So remember, guys, vote in the poll on guildhallforum.com for your
free.
chance to win a $5 Nintendo Switch or Nintendo eShop gift card. And also, big thanks to our patrons who are appearing right here. Because, as always, we could not do this channel without your support.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And you too can be a patron for just $1 a month.
$1 a month?
$1!
That's less than a cup of coffee.
Almost for free! For the Adventures Guild, I'm Steve.
Still Jesse.
And we will catch you in another holiday-themed video next time.
Have a holly jolly holiday. See, I changed up with words.
Have a holly jolly Christmas. It's the best time of the year.
Oh, I dated a girl named Christmas.
Please, for the love
This
of God, don't
year.
do this again. I'm telling Lauren.